All right, Ordinary Buddha here. I hate to do it, but if you can make it through this, there's a reason why I'm gonna. But if you can make it through it, then you can make it through the video. Oh gosh. If a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, doesn't make a sound. Now, the reason why I have to do this is because it points to two dimensions of our existence and our realities in these bodies. There's the conceptual dimension, and then there's the experiential dimension. Now, it doesn't adequately point to the validity of the experiential dimension. It creates basically a paradoxical oxymoronic riddle, but it does show us certain things about conceptual reality. Okay, so originally I was going to make this video about why we blame, and so I'm going to talk about that, and I might put that in the title, and if you want to know why we blame, watch it to there, and then you can end it. But first, the riddle. So the tree falls, no one's around to hear it, it doesn't make a sound, right? So nobody's there. So do you know? See, it's pointing to the understanding of experiential wisdom. Like, you don't really know unless you are there. But conceptually, we do know that it makes a sound. We don't need to be there to know that it will make a sound because of contact. The log or the tree becomes free and it contacts the ground and it makes a sound. See, concepts can point to certain understandings, principles of law, right? Conceptual reality has its purpose. It runs its program and it has its purpose, and then eventually in the life it gets to a point where it no longer really serves us. See, and if we want to have fuller, richer lives, we need to start living in experiential reality. So we'll explain these two things in a moment here. So one example of the conceptual mind, and we're going to get into where it comes from and why we have it too. But one example is why we blame, right? Conceptual mind can't understand certain things. Now, when we talk about conceptual mind, we're talking about duality. We're talking about ego. We're talking about the rational mind, egoic mind, rational mind, the thinking mind. We're talking about our sense of selves rooted in our minds in relation to the world outside of us. That's what we're talking about. So, like, the conceptual mind can understand principles that govern the material world really well, but it can't understand other things. It can't understand infinity. It can't understand big numbers. It can't understand an ending. It can't understand not existing. It can't understand anything in the experiential realm. Okay, so why we blame? So when there's a blame, when you're blaming someone or something in your life, there's a loss, and when there's a loss, there's going to be hurt. There's going to be pain. And so blame is the conceptual mind's attempt at getting an end to that pain. Because on the apparent level, whatever the apparent cause of the hurt and the loss was within us, the conceptual mind says, well, if they just right the wrong, or if they just right the loss, then my pain will be eased. See, but what happens is the conceptual mind gives all the power away, because the power then becomes dependent on the person outside to take an action to make your pain and your loss go away. They might not ever take that action, or that thing might not ever resolve the way you want it to resolve. You see, the conceptual mind gives all the power away, right? So the experiential mind experiences the loss, experiences the pain, and lets it go, right? It's like, oh, okay, I'm experiencing pain. Oh, the pain is caused from this thing. Oh, okay, well, this is what pain feels like. I'm going to experience it, right? And then, okay, conceptual mind says, well, how do I avoid this next time? You see, they work together, but living in the conceptual mind is limited, you see? So I'm just thinking if I got everything in that. If we want to really understand it, we have to go back to what its purpose is. So as we are young and we're growing up, everything that we experience is like an experience for the first time. So, right, from birth to age 7, we're just learning. We're just growing. We're just recording all of this information. We probably experience most things in our realities from age 7, I mean, in terms of feelings, like, because you can say, well, you can't do anything when you're 7, but like jumping out of an airplane creates love. Seeing your parent with the bottle creates love. You see what I'm saying? It's not that complicated. But so what happens is an experience, you're alive, things are happening. There's contact. Sensory input comes in. Okay? It creates a feeling in the body. The experience creates a feeling in the body. Experiential mind is feelings, sensations. Things are happening in the body. Okay? There's a part of the mind that remembers that experience, and it remembers the feelings that happens with that experience. Okay? It records that. So this is conceptual mind, and it records it as pleasant or unpleasant, okay? Good or bad, basically. Because that's two-dimensional conceptual reality. That's how it works. So eventually, we become older than 7, we become 8, we become into normal beings, we become into puberty, sexual maturation. The brain then synthesizes all those experiences it has recorded as good or bad, and the memories of those, and it uses that information to synthesize our identities, okay? Between, 13 to 25 or whatever, we are synthesizing all of that information, and we are turning it into who we are, okay? Based on what felt good to me and what didn't feel good to me. Okay, so I become whatever feels good to me, and I'm going to do whatever feels good to me, because this is the operating process of the conceptual mind. Okay, it needed to be there so we could learn how to navigate and live in our worlds and who we were. Right, we're alive. Consciousness has contacted with form. My body, my form is alive. My consciousness is conceiving of what I am, right? So, but eventually at a certain point, after 25, or when we become physically matured, mentally matured, we've experienced all the things, we've synthesized who our identities are, we start to see that if we continue to run on a program of conceptual reality, conceptual identity, right, we're not going to be happy so much, because as we're children and as we're growing up, we're mostly taken care of by our caregivers. And then when we become matured adults, we have to take care of ourselves and then others. And that's hard, okay? So the program no longer really serves us, because conceptual reality says, well, you need to do everything that I think is good. And then life doesn't agree with that. It says, nope, this is happening. Nope, this is happening. Nope, this is happening. You chased your feelings to good, and then this is what you created, right? And so there's all these problems all of a sudden. And so we see the need to depart from the predominance of conceptual reality as being the framework for which we live in and experience our life. And we need to start to switch over to the experiential mind. Because look, as soon as those things start happening that don't line up with what we think is good and what feels good in our bodies, we start blaming them. Why we blame, right? We blame them because there's a loss. And when we blame, like I said, the conceptual mind is trying to get rid of the pain, but it's actually creating more problem, because I'm becoming more powerless. I'm giving my power away to the reality, to the situation. I'm not allowing the experiential mind to do its job. The experiential mind its job is just to experience the loss. You see? So how do we live in experiential mind over conceptual mind? Okay? Well, there's another dimension to our life I haven't yet talked about, and it's the energetic dimension. Okay? So when we're growing up, we need energy given to us, okay? We need attention given to us. We need Nutrients. We need guidance, right? A plant, if it's not given the things it needs, nurturants, right? If it's not given those things, it's not going to grow to be as big. You see, so there's an energetic reality there too. And as we grow older in our lives, if we're not living in line with our energetic path, so to speak, we might not be nurturing and growing certain other parts to our being. They're kind of all holistic and they go together. Now, if you're not, or if you don't feel like you are, don't stress out about it because it doesn't really matter. But whatever situation you are in your life is going to be the appropriate teacher. It's going to be the perfect teacher. So it is important to try to go out and create radical life experiences, or life experiences generally, something different, something new. When you go out and you do something like that, you're creating a situation where you're forced to experience life, okay? So when you're forced to experience life, you have to be in your experiential mind. It shocks the system. It shocks the system out of conceptual mind. What happens is, like, if in the house is conceptual mind, outside of the house is experiential mind, okay? So you got to get out of your house, okay? You can create experiences inside of your house, you know, but mostly the house is a place of security, the house is a place of safety, the house is a place of rest. We need all of those things, but if those things become predominant over the outside world of expression, of experience, then we're going to be missing out. See the energies now, in terms of life path energy, you know, I wouldn't worry so much about that. I mean, there is a life path energy flow, and you can follow that, and that's going to ultimately lead you there the easiest way. But balancing your own energies, you know, you can do that too. Getting out and getting experience, taking that job, going to school, you know, going for a run, doing the hike, you know, asking out somebody, whatever, all those things will help you. They'll help you. They gain new experiences. And then what is important is that you practice, or you try to practice, observing and experiencing yourself as much as possible. You can experience yourself inside, you can experience yourself outside. See, in terms of outside the life energies exist outside of the life, and life energetic path exists outside of the life. In terms of the inside life, you need to be experiencing yourself all the time. You can experience your mind and your thoughts and your body and your feelings, right? And you'll instantly be in experiential mind, right? See, so although the tree falling, hitting the ground, we can conceive that it does make a sound, and that's cool, we know it. But knowing it doesn't be the experience. You're not experiencing the shaking of the earth. You're not experiencing seeing it fall. You're not experiencing the awesomeness of that situation if you can know it. Knowing it and experiencing it are two different things, right? That's why, you know, you hear a lot of people say, the older I get, the less I know. What does that mean? Because it's the natural shift. It's the natural shift of the life to move from knowing to being, right? It's the natural shift of the life to move from conceiving to experiencing. That's the natural shift of the life. Because as we die, you know, I don't want to die. I can't conceive of an ending. And so, you know, I create a God, and I create many gods, and I create a heaven, and I create a hell. Now, hell and Satan and evil, that's the conceptual mind's attempt at just blaming something else for all the evil the mind can't conceive of that exists in the world. The first noble truth of Buddhism, life is suffering. That's all you need to know. You can't go any further than that. But the mind needs to make this meaning, and the meaning is fine, okay, whatever. But eventually, at some point in time, the experience is happening right now. This is right now. If God is in your experience right now, then God is real for you. If Satan is in your experience right now, then Satan is real for you. It doesn't matter. It's your experience right now. Right now, right now. Step out of the conceptual into the experiential. Now, the phones, internet, computer, all that crap is really trying to get us into conceptual. Like, you know, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff is just representations of concepts. Like, dislike, like, dislike, like, dislike. Get away from that. Get away from that as much as you can. If you can go on a phone fast, throw your phone away, any of that stuff, man, that will help you. Our generation is getting so much more difficult for our generation now and the generations now to come out of it. But you know what? Coming out of it, you got to come out of it. You got to come out of it. You got to come out of it because life is outside. It's not inside. Woo! Inside is okay in this body. Experiencing this body is good. That's good. But outside, you got to experience. If you want a rich, full, awesome life, you got to go outside, man. I don't know. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed. Okay, till next time.